By looking at the YouTube analytics, I'm able to see where all of you are watching from, and we have fans here on the Lakers Report that spans all across the globe. I do not know, though, how long you've been a Lakers fan, so let me know how long you've been riding with the purple and gold, and let's start today's show. Welcome into the Lakers Report by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. We have an absolutely stacked show coming your way on today's show. Latest Lakers trade rumors as well as coaching rumors. The Lakers setting up a couple of more interviews with some prospective candidates out there who could replace Frank Vogel. But we start with the Zen Master in Phil Jackson. Yes, he's in the headlines once again, and it doesn't have to do with the Lakers head coaching search that he is going to be a part of. He wants to trade LeBron James. At least that's what Bill Plaschke of the Los Angeles Times said on the Doug Gottlieb show. This is crazy in my opinion. Bill Plaschke said this to Doug Gottlieb. I've heard that Phil Jackson would like LeBron James traded. I've just heard that, but I've got nothing to back that up. No on-the-record stuff to back it up, but I do know that Phil would like them to keep Russell Westbrook and try to make it work with him. A lot of what we see coming is going to be Phil's fingerprints and where that stands with what LeBron is. I don't think he loves LeBron James, but again, I think that Jeannie would overrule him on that. If Jeannie Buss does not overrule Phil Jackson on that sentiment, that's crazy, and the Lakers will continue to be a bad franchise because over the last 10 years, they've made it past the first round of the playoffs a grand total of one time. The input from Phil Jackson here is weird, and it has to be a problem for this Lakers organization moving forward if he wants to move on from LeBron James. Does he still have a problem with LeBron's posse? This is out of touch, and you think back to when Phil Jackson was running the New York Knicks. First of all, he wasn't even really a member of the New York Knicks organization because he wasn't even around from a day-to-day standpoint, and now the Lakers regime wants to involve him in this head coaching search, and he's trying to have input reportedly on this roster and whether or not they should or should not keep LeBron James. Phil Jackson, just stay far away from this organization right now. You haven't been involved with an NBA team for a long time, and if you're going to keep one player on this team, it's LeBron James, and if you're not going to keep one player, it is Russell Westbrook. Phil Jackson is arguably the best coach of all time, but he was a terrible executive for the New York Knicks, and I don't want his basketball executive fingerprints on this Lakers organization as we progress throughout this offseason and into the future years. Love him as a coach, do not like him as a basketball executive, especially when he hasn't been involved in this sport in a long while. So do you like Phil Jackson giving input? He has the nickname of the Zen Master. That's from a coaching standpoint, not from him running basketball operations. Let me know. Give me a Y for yes or an N for no. On Bill Plaschke and the Lakers keeping Russ. And keep in mind that Plaschke may not have any direct sources with Phil Jackson. He's one of the more plugged-in reporters in the LA area, though. He said this, quote, I thought they weren't. Now I think they are going to keep him. I think they're going to hire a coach and tell the coach the first requirement is make Russell Westbrook play again, make Russell Westbrook work again. That reminds me of a slogan, make Russ great again? Nah, it ain't going to happen because Russell Westbrook is washed. His best years are behind him. He is a maddening and frustrating player to watch, and I cannot stand his lack of prime decision-making late in games. It's time to move on from Russ. He's had a Hall of Fame career. For a few years there, he was one of the most exciting players that we've seen, breathtaking on the basketball floor. But the game has passed him by. He can't shoot any longer. He's a very inefficient player, and it doesn't make any sense on his salary for the Lakers to keep him on this team in 2022 and 2023. The best version of Russell Westbrook, though, if the Lakers do want to bring him back, he was playing under Scotty Brooks in Oklahoma City. A lot of rumors about Scott Brooks maybe getting an interview with Los Angeles to become their next head coach. Bill Plaschke on that as well. He said this, quote, I've heard his name near the top of the list. I'm not sure how I feel about that. We'll, of course, continue to break that down and all of the rest of the Lakers head coaching search and all of the rumors that come along with it. And we've had you covered here on the channel for a really long time. Updated head coaching candidates, that video available right now on the channel. Make sure you watch that after today's show if you haven't already done so. Also, if you haven't subscribed, first of all, you ain't alive, but you're also missing out on some of the best Lakers coverage on the entire internet. I've been saying all week, it's our goal to get to 44,000 subs by the end of the week to honor the great Jerry West. We're 139 people away. So if you want consistent coverage that's entertaining and informative, just hit that red subscribe button down below or plug in that link that's flashing on your screen. It's youtube.com/LakersTV. So we continue to talk about Scotty Brooks here. His resume, a little bit shaky. Now, he's known for helping lead the Oklahoma City Thunder to that championship appearance in the NBA Finals against the Miami Heat when the Heat with LeBron James as well as Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh won their first championship. It was that Harden, that KD, and that Russell Westbrook team that made it to the finals. And Scott Brooks at that time did a really good job. And his resume, a little bit shaky when it comes to the playoffs. He has won a lot of games. I'm just not sure how much he's going to help improve this team. Assistant in Portland this season. He was with the Thunder from 2008 to 2015. Won about 62% of his games. It's hard not to win games when you have Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook in his prime. Finals appearance in 2011-2012 with the Wizards really wasn't all that good. And for a little while there, he had some star power with John Wall and Bradley Beal. He does have a lot of experience, so he can check that box off there for LA. Nearly 20 years in the NBA as a coach and a lot of time as a head coach. If you could pick a coach for the Lakers moving forward, who would it be? And, you know, the last couple of years, we've seen a couple of different coaching styles. So if you want to kind of talk about that coaching style and give me a candidate in the comment section, you can certainly feel free. Today's show is also on Rumble, and of course, it is on YouTube. And we have a competition going on inside the walls here at Chat Sports between two rival teams in the NBA, the Lakers and the Warriors. Right now on Rumble, Golden State Warriors today, nearly 2,000 subs. Lakers report about 300 subscribers behind. Now, we've been able to pick up steam just a little bit. Let's do some more work, and let's pick up some more steam. Rumble.com/LakersTV. Use that link, and then when you get there, make sure you hit that green follow button. We move forward now in this head coaching search to Kenny Atkinson. This coming from Adrian Wojnarowski that the Lakers were allowed to interview Atkinson, currently an assistant for Steve Kerr in Golden State. And look, I think Atkinson did some great things with the Brooklyn Nets. Now, we're going to show you his win-loss resume, and a lot of you are going to be like, well, he didn't win a lot of games. You have to remember, when Kenny Atkinson took over as the head coach for the Brooklyn Nets, that was not a desirable franchise. That franchise was in the dumps, and from a cultural standpoint, they were awful. But he goes there and he helps turn the Brooklyn Nets around. Now, they missed the playoffs in 2016-17 and the following year as well. Then 2018-19, they did make it to the playoffs when D'Angelo Russell was their best player. They lost in the first round to the Philadelphia 76ers. Then he resigned after going 28-34 during the 2019-2020 season. A lot of that was pressure from Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. They wanted another coach. They wanted Steve Nash. They handpicked him. They moved on from Kenny Atkinson. But I think he did a couple of good things there, from building up the Brooklyn Nets culture from being one of the worst franchises in the NBA to a fast turnaround, did a good job of player development. They were really forward thinkers when it came down to sports science as well. That's why I like what Kenny Atkinson was able to bring to the table. Now, this also coming from Shams Charania. The Lakers requested permission to interview Milwaukee Bucks assistant Charles Lee for their head coaching job. And everybody's like, wait, hold on. Charles Lee, the assistant for the Bucks, and not Darvin Ham. Darvin Ham is certainly in the running as well. Also, he is another Mike Budenholzer assistant, 2014 to 2018 with the Hawks, 2018 until now with the Milwaukee Bucks. So, like Darvin Ham, he's been alongside Mike Budenholzer for a long time, and he's been able to help guide the Milwaukee Bucks on a couple of deep playoff appearances and playoff runs. Last year, NBA champions, and this year, 3-2 over the Boston Celtics in that second-round playoff series after a phenomenal basketball game that featured everything from Giannis having blood dripping down his face to Al Horford looking like Bill Russell making championship plays, being a high flyer. That series has had it all, and Lee has certainly been there along the way and in previous years as well. Will he get the job, though, ahead of Darvin Ham? If that's the case, that's pretty interesting because Darvin Ham has interviewed for a lot of head coaching jobs in NBA circles. He is highly regarded in NBA circles as well. So I think it'd be a little bit of an upset if Lee gets a head coaching job ahead of Darvin Ham because Ham right here on the totem pole under Mike Budenholzer, and Lee's a little bit further down on that totem pole. But Mike Budenholzer done a great job of developing coaches over time, and his resume in that way has certainly been impressive throughout his coaching career. So do you have any interest in any of these candidates? There are a couple who we've talked about on today's show. If so, just let me know in the comment section. As always, we greatly appreciate you for supporting everything that we do. The more subscribers that we get, the more views that we get, the more videos that you receive from us here at Chat Sports. Subscribe, get that comment section flowing, and thanks for watching today's show.